We want to thank everyone for joining us today. And we are going to have a recap of our VBS week. We just had our VBS week take place, and it was a great week. But before we jump into the discussion on VBS, I'd love to welcome everyone, and you can introduce yourself if people don't know who you are. And I'm going to ask you what one highlight from the summer has been so far for you or your family or whatever. So we'll start, just go around the table and introduce yourself.
I'm Catherine Ring, and a highlight of our summer has been our children are at a super fun age where there's a lot of independentness.
Yes.
But it's also opened up opportunity to do different activities with each of them in their own way. I don't know if I'm wording that well. Those that have the preteen, little bit older kid stage, unlike Colton, who's in the trenches right now.
He is in the trenches.
We're on the other end a little bit.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
We're reaching different struggles, but it's been a fun summer.
There's that sweet spot because they're not quite teens yet. They're approaching that, but you know.
Yeah, lots of different things, but fun summer so far.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh. I'm Libby Anderson.
Yeah,
Hi.
I was just say it's.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
I'm a little fuzzy today, but we're good. We're recovering. This summer's been fun. It's been busy. So we have adult kids down to little ones. But as always, the ranch. Come on. My kids have had the time of their lives. We just picked up Maggie last night.
Yeah.
And,
she had a good couple days.
Yeah. They all say it's their favorite place in the summer. And so that's been just so much fun watching them become blossoming. Garrett really misses it. So he's been sneaking out to visit. It's his first summer not at the ranch. So so that's been just really cool to watch this summer. Super fun.
That is I mean, I echo that as far as like we're in a sweet spot right now because next summer it's not going to be this. But we had 2 summers where they could go to the same week. And so like we had an empty house. I know. Yeah. Like you will hit that spot eventually. And
we get that for like 3 hours at a time. It's like, hey, take the kids, please.
Yeah. But it's so great because like when we drop them off, they maybe say goodbye if we force it, but like they're just like, here we are. It's their second home, and so they love it, and they're gone, and they got their friends. And this year it was unique because, well, not that unique because it happened last year as well. But the entire bunk was all Fed boys, and so like they just had a blast, And it was. And Isaac Glover survived, and he does great because he's built for that temperament, to handle all the chaos and. But I would definitely echo that.
I've already started fantasizing about sending my kids to the ranch.
I know. that day
for those that don't know, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, so it's going to be a little bit.
But it's around the corner.
Yeah.
So
I'm Colton Owens. Right now, my summer has been pretty just kind of hanging with the family. I'm in between a couple positions, so I had 6 weeks off. So that's a big reason why I was able to help out with VBS. We went down to Lancaster and saw Joshua. So that was a good show with the Sight and Sound Theater. So got the whole Owens crew together. So
that's awesome.
So, Catherine just got back.
We did.
I know.
That was another highlight, but you said 1, and I was trying. 10 out of 10 recommend if you haven't gone.
Yeah, that's that's been something that my parents have done as like the Christmas present to all of us as kids and grandkids because. We asked them to like switch to experiences a number of years ago. And I think this might be the 5th year that like they've gotten tickets for all of us.
That's awesome.
And so this year, unfortunately, I don't think we're all going to be able to go together just because of the busyness of everything. But we're looking forward to getting down there and seeing Joshua, which will be good. And so I don't know if I have a highlight of this summer. Yesterday was pretty cool. Just kind of like an impromptu last minute decision from a couple weeks ago. We bought tickets to Kingdom Bound because we wanted to go see Josiah Queen, and getting a ticket for him and his concert this summer was really hard, and they weren't super close. So after staff meeting yesterday, we left right away, got up there, got to take part in the amusement park for like 5 hours before we started we went to like 3 of the shows, and there was like 1 speaker, but it made for a late night. I laid down at 2:15, And that alarm went off at 6:05, and I was not happy. But it's okay. It's but it was a great time. It was just so much fun with the kids, riding rides, and then experiencing the concerts, and it was pretty special. So that was a good highlight. And then Friday, in a couple days, not that I'm counting down, but we leave for vacation.
It's okay. You're allowed to count down. Yeah.
So I will unplug, and phone will be shut off for the vast majority of it, and it'll be really nice. Good. So we're looking forward to it. But so VBS, we're giving a recap. It was a tremendous week, and there was so much that we will talk about, but won't talk about. But Libby, I'd love to hear from you, like what went into the thought process, because you can first, I'll have you explain the topic instead of me doing it. Yeah. But I see your VBS shirt on with Rome and Paul in the underground church. Yes. But speak real quick to what the theme was and why you and your team landed on that theme.
Sure. Well, VBS curriculums come out. They hit in June, right?
Yeah.
And so I have this really weird dynamic every year where I am researching next year's before we've even done this year's, because ours is a little bit later than a lot of churches. So ours is towards the end of July. And so in June, I'm picking out next year's theme. Last year, we did True North, which was super fun. We've done group VBSs for the last couple of years. We did Stellar, we did Scuba, and then we did True North. So for the last 3 years we've done, they're not necessarily similar, like they've had a different big theme, but the rhythm has been the same. And so honestly, I was looking for something, I just felt like it was time for different. a little change. And so I started praying about it and looking at all of the options. There's lots. I read through a lot of curriculum in June. And there were some great ones, but I really felt like God putting on my heart, bring the Bible to life.
Yeah.
Bring the Bible to life. And when I read through Rome, and it was being about Paul in the underground church, it was just like a weight, like going, oh, this is it. But then there was I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to be a lot of work. Because it's written, the curriculum itself was written to be a family program as an evening rotation. And so I knew we were kind of going to have to take that curriculum, rip the guts out of it, and rewrite the whole thing. And redo the whole thought process. Whole thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, God, I really don't think you're going to want us to do that. You've been telling me less is more, right? It's like, I feel like it's been a theme right now. Like, do what we do really well. I don't necessarily need to add more on myself. But as I prayed over it, the curriculum was just so rich. It literally was just this visual of Paul in chains for the sake of the gospel, writing to those Christians who are in hiding. And just, as God would have it, when I really said, I think this is where God is leading, confirmation after confirmation after confirmation, and having missionary friends that we've gotten to know pretty well, a couple different ones, and being able to hear firsthand what it looks like living as part of the underground church, and kind of battling with them on their behalf throughout this year. And so I knew that God really wanted us to start planting deep truths in the heart of our kids, that this isn't just these Bible times that we don't really relate to in everyday life, but this is going on right now all over the world. And we celebrate our freedoms now, but we're not guaranteed to have those freedoms forever. And so, as we've also talked about in some of our parenting classes, that we're raising Daniels, right? We want our kids to be ready for whatever may come in their life. I feel like this was some truths that need to be planted in their hearts. One, that the Bible is real. These were real events and real people, and this is something we can trust completely. But then there are our brothers and sisters of Christ who are walking this every day.
Yeah.
And so, God planted it on my heart, and super thankful for a team that caught that vision and said, yes, this is completely different than anything we've done. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it was neat because, as I talked to other people about it, even some of the people that we asked to get involved from other churches, it was, I just kind of took it for granted. And I've said this, but I want to reiterate it here. Like the one missionary we had come in was like, oh my gosh, like you guys are talking about the underground church and VB, like that's the focus. I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, I've never heard of any VBS doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, and just like, not taking for granted the fact that, like you said, like we want to put deep spiritual truths and put the word of God in these kids' hearts and like really provide that instead of just making sure that it's some fun, happy topic. And not that like Christianity can't be that, like not that that's bad either, but like you guys did it in an amazing way, but to really tackle a hard topic and say, well, yeah, the kids need to know about this too. Yeah. And so it was really neat to see that and to see the kids really take hold of it. And it was a little different, like you said, because every day you had, one of our elders of our church, Les Egley, was Paul, and John Schwartzweger, another member of our church, was Brutus, the Roman centurion. He was, chained to the whole time, and they had a good exchange, and like they presented part of Romans every day. Yeah. And the kids really latched onto that. And then Brian and Julie Hulley playing the underground couple church. Mm-hmm. And again, I joked about this, like, because when you guys were decorating, someone made a comment of like, you're not down here helping. I'm like, yeah, because if I was down here, we would have been done a while ago, and it would be like, oh yeah, this is good enough. And the kids would have come and been like, this is lame, but like you guys created caves, and like the room was blacked out, and like they had to sneak back to find the underground church couple and like have those discussions. And it was just a much more real experience and a really neat experience for the kids. And then having a couple of them share in the video that was their favorite part, and it resonated with them. To see what that was like, and then to hear firsthand from missionaries who are in the thick of it, this is what church looks like in another country. And in many countries in the world, it has to be done in secret. You have to shut your phones off. You have to, what was it, 3 cement walls, in China between them and their phones, so that they weren't tracked or the government couldn't listen in, and like all these different things that you don't even think of. And just, so it was really neat, and it definitely resonated with the kids. So I'd love to hear from Catherine and Colton, like what role did you play in the VBS, and the aspect that you contributed to it?
Yeah, sure. So I was talking to Libby on our way up here this morning. It's been 14 years that I've had the privilege of helping Libby in some capacity, serving together doing VBS, which is mind-blowing to think about. Yeah. And in those 14 years, I've usually, we're getting old, I usually end up helping lead or being one-on-one with the kids or doing a specific activity, and my work schedule has changed some. So this year I was a floater, which was super fun because I enjoy serving and meeting needs the way I need when I can. And I enjoy administrative, so it was just neat to be in that kind of perspective role. But one day Libby called, and Miss Kate got hurt. And she said, I'm calling in the troops. I need a favor. And she's like, kindergarten. And after the end of the day, I found Libby, and I said, I thought we were friends. Kindergarten this year was their own breed. I usually am okay with the littles, but at one point we have the presenters talking, and preschool was sitting and listening, first grade's behind me sitting and listening, and kindergarten's just, it was all I could do not to sit on top of them to get them to sit and listen. So we had 10 kindergartners that were very vibrant, very excited.
Yes.
So that was
They were
a fun
full of
day.
life.
They were full of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was super fun. But like I said, being the floater was neat because I got to check in and brought papers out to Colton, so I got to see him working with the archery kids, and I actually got to see Steve with his 31 marching troops of Nerf, and Kendall wrangling the basketball kids. So it was neat to get to check in on some of the older kids because I'm usually in the younger crowd. The other thing that was super huge blessing was just getting to see other members of our church and our community working together and serving, and seeing them in serving roles was just super encouraging and exciting to see, and be like, oh, like it was Brian and Julie's first year, really, and they jumped in full, and so props to them, because it was just really neat to see them flourish. And then the fruit of the kids being like, that was my favorite part, was like, hopefully it's super encouraging to them. And all that to say, here's my pitch for VBS is, if you don't help already, we will find a place for you.
We will
one
find
way.
We will find you. But I think one of the things that's very valuable that you're speaking to is, it's not just one type of gifting that's needed for VBS. Like there's so many different areas that you could serve in. And you know, there's even those that are in the kitchen providing the snack every day. They don't have necessarily direct connection with the kids. They do when they come get the snack, but like it's, like those women are, and the only reason I say women is it just so happens to be only women. Yeah. But they're invaluable.
Absolutely.
Like they're providing the snacks every day. They got there just as early as everyone else, and they were working the whole time.
Later.
And they stayed later, and like all the different things, and making sure the food allergies were taken care of that you guys gave, you know. Yeah. And they just, there's a lot of different ways that you can serve.
Absolutely.
They were
VBS.
champs. They served rat on a stick this year.
I know. It was
my favorite.
Awesome. The one little boy that goes, I have a pet rat.
Yeah. Like, oops.
And then Beth Merritt and I on the side going, I think if you deep fry anything, it could be tasty enough.
if you bread it and fry it, it's good.
But so, and like I said, again, to talk to just those serving the young moms in the church that had the kids that are reaching preschool. So you had, you know, Kayla Freilich was one of them who had Grant enrolled in preschool. Gabby Ward's another one who brought her little along, but we made it work.
Strapped
we
that
had
baby
childcare helpers, and they were still able to serve too.
It was neat.
And it was tremendous to see that.
It's awesome. I don't know. I love it. I love our church. Good job, guys.
Yeah. And Colton, so what was your role this year?
I was the facilitator of the archery group.
Yes.
I don't lead anything. I facilitate all things that I help out with. But, you know, it was something that, you know, I'm super passionate about. I archery hunt, as well as I help facilitate the monthly archery shoot and kind of discipleship outreach group. So it's something that, you know, is kind of already, you know, something I'm familiar with. But tailoring it to VBS is something, it's a group that we used to have. I don't know how many years we haven't been doing it, Libby. The archery group.
For Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Ashtabula County did it. So Jerry. Jerry and Judy Smith did it in Ashtabula County. Yeah, and they just stopped this last year.
Okay.
And so we were gifted a large youth archery kit, like all of the stuff. So that was such a neat.
So when it comes to my, you know, leading or helping out with the archery group, it's something I used to do years ago when I was in college and I think even high school. But it was something that, you know, based on my school career, I had to get out of. And I was able to jump back in based on the gentle poking of Libby. I think it was like, hey, you want to help lead, right? Yeah. You want to help. So it was really good. So, you know, we had a few other leaders that helped out with the archery group, and no one got hurt. None of the kids. We had anywhere between 10 and 11 kids every day flinging arrows into an open field with no one downrange. So so I think
everybody stayed safe.
It was really good. In previous years that I helped, the kids, you know, around that day 3 or 4, they would start to be like, my fingers hurt. This is boring. We're just doing the same thing. But the kids this year, they just really enjoyed it. They jumped in and they were encouraging each other. We did some team-based shoots. So it was really cool to see them kind of jump in. and kind of have that camaraderie, which you don't normally see in 3rd to 5th graders. So
yeah. And it also had to be an encouragement. The one young boy that I don't know who he was. And so, like his thing is Libby was going around sticking a mic in everyone's face. What was your favorite part of VBS? What was your favorite part of VBS? And he's like, Colton and Fletcher.
Yeah.
Like that was my favorite part, because Fletcher was, one of the teens or preteen that was helping you do that. And like, it was just cool to see because you're reminded the ability to have an impact in ways you don't even know you're having an impact, especially with young kids or like youth. But it was just that role for him that there was a lot of whatever that he resonated with you guys as his leader. And it was just neat. And then there was a couple others that talked about the activities you were doing, like popping the balloons with the arrows,
shooting
and
the bullseye,
getting a bullseye. That was a highlight. And
So when it comes to being the main facilitator of a group, it's not something that I'm accustomed to because I'm one step above a pacifist. So I'm not a huge disciplinarian, except for when it comes to my kids, because I don't want to mess them up. Okay? But I'm not a huge
he doesn't mind messing
disciplinarian.
your kids up. But
So when it came to that, I was nervous, and the kid who was the kid who said that I as well as Fletcher were his favorite part of VBS. He was a button pusher. And I was like, I didn't have to strictly punish any kids, but he was one of the ones where I was like,
close.
hey, knock it off or else you're going to find out what happens at VBS on the bad side of it, which is you're just going to sit out a round of archery. That's it.
That's the punishment.
To see the kid that I had that, little bit of kind of, just
friction.
Friction. To see him come back and be like, you as my facilitator for the group, you were my favorite part of VBS. It was so encouraging because seeing something like that through an adult's lens or mindset, it's not like if I had friction with someone, I'd be like, I don't want to associate myself at all with them anymore. They're definitely not my favorite. So that was just really encouraging.
And we're not going to get off on this tangent, but it also does speak to the fact that done correctly, kids crave discipline. Even if they don't like it in the moment.
Absolutely.
And they need it, and we as adults need it. So like it's a great reminder of just the impact that has. And I had like a similar experience because, recently there was, without getting into circumstances, but, a tragic death that led me to reconnect with some of my players. And a couple weeks ago in church, they all came back in town, as the 1-year anniversary of this tragic death. And it was one of their ideas to all come to church. And there was like 30 of them, like a bunch of their parents came, like siblings. And I joked with the guys afterwards, like, man, this is crazy because, like, we had so many troubles when you were in school. Like, there were so many times that, like, it was not good exchanges between us, just because of the discipline aspect. But to see them then come back in times of trouble and need, was pretty special and a really good reminder of that. And so it was pretty cool. So I guess I'd love to hear in your capacities, or what was one of the things that was like a highlight for you guys? And Libby, I'm going to throw you in with this also, obviously. But like, what was one of the things that stood out? It might have had nothing to do with archery, or it might have had nothing to do with whatever as you were bouncing around. But what was a highlight from the week? Maybe not the number one, but something that stood out and that was just a really cool thing that you guys got to experience.
I mean, I can say when I was shoving microphones in everybody's faces, and I said this a little bit on Sunday morning too, and I said everybody's asking everybody else's favorite part, but my favorite part, man, was the team. I feel like this year specifically, I probably say this every year, but no, but really we had more volunteers this year than we've ever had. So I had 54 feet on the ground, people actually here, let alone the dozens that helped ahead of time prep. And but seeing their intentionality with how they were interacting with the kids, and then hearing, it's one part of facilitating that I don't get a ton of, especially with VBS. I don't get the one-on-one time with the kids because I'm not leading a group. I'm just making sure all the wheels are moving in the right direction and everybody's alive. We haven't lost anybody. But getting to hear some of their stories where we just made space for conversations. I think of one, and I won't say the teacher's name. She did not want to be on the podcast. Yeah. We'll throw her under the bus. Yeah. But she was telling me about on Thursday. Thursday's always the day that we intentionally share the gospel. And I really felt led to explain to them that Paul's words that we're hearing in a drama format, they're really in the Bible. That this is Romans. This is the real letter that he was writing to real people. And I said, do you want to read it for yourself? Read it for yourself. It's in the Bible. Like, these aren't just words on the page. They're alive. This was a letter he wrote. And we were shocked after the fact by how many of them said they did not have a Bible at home. Yeah. I think about one conversation that the leader got to have with a little girl who came, and she said, well, I know my mom and dad don't believe in God, and I know they don't believe in the Bible, and so we don't have one. Can I have one? Yes. And this leader was in tears, after that conversation. She said, but I want to believe. Can I, even if mom and dad don't?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. And Jesus is with you, and he's always with you. Yeah. And so, I get a little teary talking about it now. But watching the intentional interactions of our church and seeing their hearts was such an encouragement to me, reminding me, I'm not going it alone. We're a team. We're a team. We all have the same vision. It's a large team with like-minded individuals furthering the gospel one kid at a time. And that was, that was such a sweet moment. It was good. Yeah.
I have two, and to piggyback on Libby said, one would be seeing, like we kind of mentioned, the youth of the church. So the kids that aged out of VBS. So you have Fletcher and Reagan Billings, and there's oodles of them that were helping, and my own kiddos. I
was going to say your daughter. So you got to mention,
I wish I could name them all by name, but to see
Savannah Pratt and Violet Gregg was there.
Yeah, to see them, as their parents and the kids that I've watched grow up and be part of their lives, take, and make the faith their own, and then to share it with other kiddos and to be open to them and serving them was super awesome. That gets me super emotional. And the other person who needs a huge shout out is always Jim Rickert. Yeah. So we wouldn't even finish checking in kids, and he'd be like, how many kids do we have? Where's the name list? And at first I was like, why does he need this? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. And then I found out later it's because Jim takes it and he prays over every single one of those kiddos genuinely and earnestly every single day. And it was like, why can't we be more like Jim? So not only was he there helping Steve with the chaos of Nerf. He was
like, he volunteered
extra.
The whole time.
He does.
But then it's,
and he's always been one that's always helped, but he's got a passion for it. And so just that humbling reminder of, like, here's another way you can serve, help, or be involved that we should all be doing is in the moment. It's a long, crazy, chaotic week, but too often 12 o'clock comes, we check out, go home, have lunch, VBS is over with till the next day. Yeah. But to continually be praying over those kiddos and for them to come back the next day, and then after VBS to be praying for them now that it's said and done and they're not getting fed by us every day. So.
That's a tremendous highlight.
I think I also kind of have a couple. One is the shorter one would be building those relationships with the kids that you see on Sunday, but you've never had the opportunity because they're there's a huge age gap between me and a third grader.
Yeah, and that's just weird if you go up
like, and hey man, what's your name? You want to hang out sometime?
What do you like to do?
Building those relationships. And I was speaking with Kendall because Eli was in my group, and just getting to interact with someone. I'm building a relationship with his dad. Now I'm got to build a relationship a little bit with his son.
Yeah.
Just having those multi-generational relationships that will continue. It's not like we're just going to see each other on VBS and be like, all right, I'll see you next year. Like, it's going to continue every Sunday, midweek when we see each other at the grocery store. I'm going to not just say, hey, Kendall, what's happening? I'm going to be like, hey, Eli, how's school going? So it'll be really cool.
And before you get to your other highlight, just a reminder of, if we all look back in our lives, those are some of the most impactful people in our lives were the adults that somehow we interacted with and had a connection and got to then pour into our lives. Because obviously it starts at home with the parents, but we were all kids too, and you tune your parents out or whatever, at certain seasons. But to have those other adults in the church and in your life speaking truth to you and checking up on you and all that is just a tremendous impact that you might never know the results of. But that's awesome.
I mean, for me, it's Daniel Helmbrecht, because he taught me my life verse. And that's what I took into me for every bit of my, over a decade-long school career of like, okay, why am I doing this? Okay, it's because the Lord makes my path straight. Like, I'm pursuing the path that God has for me. So
and that's cool. What was the other highlight you were going to share?
Just shortly was the call back to youth ministry. I shared this on Sunday, but I used to be big on youth ministry, especially Wednesday evenings, sharing with my facilitating of a group, which back then I was doing very little facilitating, mainly just playing basketball, really. But with Kevin, I was always in his group. He was kind of mentoring me through how to be a youth leader. But I got away from that just based on how demanding my schooling was. But when it came to this break, I'm in between my residency and starting my first job out of residency. I had 6 weeks off, and it aligned with me being able to give the week for VBS. And prior to this year, I'd always donate a little bit of funds, pick up a pack of gummy worms or whatever, and be like, oh yeah, I helped out. Which is I helped out with VBS for this year. I'm good. But this year, God was like, hey, you have this time. It's not enough for you. It's not enough for you.
And Mia's coming anyways.
Yes.
So one of your two kids are old enough, and she attended.
She sure did.
And
she was up there dancing in the front. So
awesome. She always had so much joy. Was so happy to be here. But anyways,
Well, she likes seeing your Rome.
Oh gosh.
AI picture. She was
like, I know.
We all were.
I know. Believe me, I can talk about that. The apple didn't fall far from your wife's tree. I was going to say, because that was my first knowledge of those pictures. Sorry to get sidetracked.
I'm good at derailing. So.
But we'll get to that after you finish.
So when it came time for me to give this time throughout the 6-week break, God just helped me realize, realign my heart for youth ministry and be like, hey, it's not enough for you, at least. It's not enough for you to just give monetary value into this. You need to be there for the kids. And like I said, I don't lead anything. I just facilitate. I'm here just to help out. And when it comes time for answering questions, I'm going to have the answer. This week, one of the kids asked a question. I didn't have the answer. I was like, hey, this is what I believe Scripture points to, but I'll have the answer based on Scripture, and I'll have direct quotations from Scripture tomorrow. And I'll be like, as long as you're here, we'll talk about it. I will say one thing I've been convicted of is we always think when it comes to tithing that it's just a monetary thing. But at least how my contract for my employment is wrote up, benefits don't just come into monetary value. They go into what time you have away from your job. So for me, I'm really convicted that I need to tithe some of that, that time away, because that's part of the compensation package, at least for the way my job works. So I think that that's one way the Lord convicted me, and maybe it'll convict some other people, is we need to also tithe our time, away from work as well. So
and that's a great point of ways to contribute. And yes, there are some that are called to contribute monetarily, and I think we all are. Not to get into all that.
Don't stop.
Please.
In addition to,
but there are those that are called like, hey, your function in the body is to serve time-wise in this capacity, whatever that is. There's a variety of ways to serve the church body, in that capacity. But for some, it is, like you said, youth and kids, and making time. And I know you even mentioned, because obviously you start pretty soon here in your first job as a doctor, and you're done with residency and all that. But you're like, yeah, next year for VBS, I'll just take half days.
Yeah.
Like, and like, like.
As Libby's doing a happy dance.
Yeah, I know. But like, it's cool because then there's others, and that's not everyone's call.
Yeah.
But there's others that it's like, yeah, I rearrange my work schedule, or I take vacation so that I can contribute to this because God's really laid it on my heart that much, and so it is a tremendous thing to be open to what God is leading you and to do that. But yeah, for those that don't know, Libby and Heather Fales and whoever else of their team thought they would have some fun and put the staff's faces on like Roman, like AI stuff. And so I laughed because they kept it a secret from everyone. And so Monday I dropped Emery off because my daughter had to be here to help with the dancing and stuff, or the motions, not dancing, but the motions for worship. And so I dropped her off, and then I parked over by the preschool because I wanted to not park in the regular parking lot, to let guests come in. And so as I'm walking through, your wife, Michaela's like leaving, and like I go to say good morning, and she just starts laughing at me. And I'm like, okay, good morning. And she's got Anna, like she's holding Anna, and she starts spitting and sputtering about pictures or something. And I'm like, Michaela, I got no clue what you're talking about. Like, are you saying there's pictures of me that look funny? And she's like, yeah, there's pictures of all of you. And then she's like, and I'm like, well, where? And she's like, don't worry, you won't be able to miss it. And then, of course, I walk into it, and yeah, it was quite comical. But it fit the decor.
It just worked.
Yes, and now they are gone. So I have no clue where they're gone to.
My possession.
Yeah, I was going to say. But
they will make a reappearance.
Yes,
they will.
Well,
I mean, I said they may have them if they really would like to treasure their 6-foot Roman statue of themselves. They may have them.
Oh man!
But I have the originals.
Yes,
they could resurface at any time.
Oh man! But it was good, and then I felt like super awkward that first day. Because I always try to stand in the welcome center and talk to parents as they're signing in and getting ready, and it's a good way for me to connect. And where I usually stand is right where my picture was, because that's the back of the line, and the parents are usually not as happy to be in the back of the line. So like I'll talk to them there, and I'm like, I'm not standing here next to this.
You couldn't have felt too awkward because I caught you getting a selfie with yourself. So
no, it was not a selfie.
That would have been awesome.
Michaela convinced me to stand next to it and get a picture.
I'll send it to Mike. We'll flash it on the screen.
Yeah, that's. Oh man, I was laughing, and then I did ask her to send those pictures because there's a group chat that Angie was talking about of people that don't go to the church, a small group that we're still part of, and so I did.
Pastor Rick kept visiting himself
over
by the coffee.
Oh yeah,
He's like, man, I look good.
He did. He would sip his coffee and look at himself.
Yes,
He caught you all.
Yeah. He was the praetor of coffee.
Yes.
His placement worked out well.
Yes, it was good, and it was funny because then like as I'm talking to parents, kids would look up, look at me, look up.
Wait,
and then I would, they would say something to me, and I got a chance to connect with them as well.
It was fun.
I was just say it was pretty hilarious, but and it did fit. Good. But I'd also love to hear like a little bit from you guys as far as, I mean, honestly, and you spoke to this already, but like, why is it that you find value in rearranging your life to be part of this? Like what is it that keeps you coming back 14 straight years, even as your work schedule changes? Like what is it that, I know there's some prodding, but you've had
gentle.
Gentle. But you've had like I don't know if I'd say a change of heart, but
even if you get away from
reinvigoration of calling.
Even if you get away from something that you enjoy for long enough, your routine just changes.
Yes.
And you just need a gentle reminder of, hey, this is something you did in the past. Let's do it some more.
Yeah.
And I think that's more of what it was. You're not throwing you under the bus, Libby.
But
it was more of just like, hey, you used to do this. Do you want to do it some more? And I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, sure.
Yeah. And I think for me, when it comes to youth ministry, is everyone sees the high energy of kids, and everyone's always like, "Hey, can I get some of your energy?" And it's like, be around kids, and you will get some of that energy.
Yeah,
you will absorb
they
it.
feed you.
Everyone has that person that they just want to be around because they're a good time. Kids are that. If you allow yourself to be in tune with the Spirit of Jesus and the Holy Spirit, think about Jesus' ministry. He was in tune with seeking out kids. Was it Mark 10:14?
Yeah, like
Good
where
job.
he said,
Is that what?
Yeah.
Well, Jim, I was like, think about Jesus' ministry, and Jim reminded me of that verse, so I looked it up that week. So but let the children come to me, and I think that if we look at Jesus' ministry, he was so in tune with kids that we also need to be in tune with kids. So when you think about that one person that's in your life where you're like, I love hanging out with them. I don't want to bug them, but I want to be around them the whole time that they're alive because they're so much fun.
Yeah.
Kids ministry is that, and you just have to get in there and realize that that's where you want to be too.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Absolutely. That's so good.
Yeah.
I think one thing that just keeps coming back is the need for it. So there were multiple churches this year in our area that did not do a VBS program this year
because they couldn't get the volunteers.
And it's always blown my mind how many kids we've had attend our VBSs in all of these years. We've usually reached 100 easily, if not more. And the fact that parents let us have their kids in this day and age, I'm not going to show up at another church and drop my kids off unsupervised for multiple hours every morning for a whole week. So the fact that we have so many kiddos that aren't Fedite kids that just come from the community or friends of friends or come from other churches, and we're able to provide that for them. And obviously there's a desire for it. If we can get 138 kids here on our high peak day, like all the more reason to keep doing it. If there's a need for it, then we're going to keep putting in the time. And we go a little over the top as far as the decorations and making it an experience, but I think that's what sets it apart in its own way too, and is the draw to get them here, but then we're able to pour into them. It's not to discredit smaller or backyard groups or anything like that.
There's
some people that say like, oh, this looks expensive, or oh, you guys put a lot of time into decorating, and we do because that's one of the ways we get them in the door, and it is fruitful, and it's super rewarding for the kiddos that get to come and those that are able to serve in whatever capacity that is. So.
Yeah, and I'll speak to that in a second, but Libby, I want to rephrase it or reframe the question for you.
Yeah.
I guess this is something that has been charged for you to do. So in one capacity, someone can look at it and be like, well, yeah, but you just have to do this because it's on your job description.
I've only worked here for 3 years.
I know. And so there was a lot of time as a volunteer that you were very entrenched in it. But I guess my question is, why do you find it is worth building such a large team and putting so much time into it when, like I said, I'd stop way before that. One, because that's not my gifting. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
But why have you found I'll just go ahead and say it, even though I didn't ask permission. Why have you found that it is worth you crashing last night and laying down because your husband's like, hey, you've hit a wall.
Yeah.
Relax, and then you wake up 14 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's worth it.
Yeah, and so I guess why put so much time into it? Why put so much of a team and put the weight on so many other people that have been working for VBS? And I mean, you guys started your nights to prepare this stuff
in January.
Yeah, I know. People are coming and making parameters here to paint stuff and
and they're bugging me. When are we starting?
Yeah,
when are we starting?
Yeah.
Oh, give me a minute. Hold on, let me get my brain on.
And so I guess why have you felt like, yes, I do still want to do it to this level?
Sure. When I think back to childhood, and I can challenge you guys too, when you think back to your childhood, you remember experiences, right? Vacations, something new, something different, big things. When we can make VBS or church an experience where it's not just somewhere we went, but we are relational, experiential. We're getting all of their senses involved. Where it's a little over the top, it's a little crazy, it may stick with them in a different way. One of my goals in children's ministry is to create an atmosphere that they want to be in.
Yeah.
It's to have a place that they want to be. I want them to want to come to church. Not just because it's fun. That's one of them.
Yeah.
It fits them, like this is our level. This is what we want to do. But I'm seen here. I am heard here. It's fun here. I'm safe here.
Yeah.
Those are some of my big checklists. And then for me, if I can get that, if they want to be, we see them, we get to hear them, I have a relationship with them, then I get to speak truth into them.
Yeah.
And then in that way where they are seen and heard and cared for, then they can realize, okay, these guys actually care. I'm going to listen.
This isn't just a Bible story they're trying to use to fill time. This is actually, I've actually seen this on display.
Yeah.
In their lives.
Exactly. We want to love them. Jesus broke bread.
As adults, we need to see that it's being put into practice.
Yes.
As Sunday school teachers are teaching us, as elders and deacons are shepherding us, as pastors are preaching to us, like it just falls flat if you don't see any evidence of it.
Absolutely.
And
I get it. I get it at SALT. I've had a kid look right at me and go, "Why should I listen to you?"
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Why should you listen to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that shook me to my core. Like, man, why should they listen to me?
Yeah.
Who am I? Who am I? If it's not about me, it's about Jesus. But so how do I model that? Jesus fed them. He went to where they are.
Yeah.
He met them where they are. He fed them. He told the kids to come sit on his lap. And sit with them and be with them. He spent time with them. He poured into them. And then he got to speak truth. And he spoke truth. Hard truth.
Yes.
I feel like especially this year, it was not fluff. It was not a fluff year where we're just talking about, Jesus is so much fun. Yeah, he is. But
it's...
And we're going to have a lot of fun together, but we're going to talk about Paul, who was in chains and in jail and people running for their lives for the sake of the gospel, and that it's worth it. But yeah, I guess it's worth it, man. And it's worth it when I've got, what did I say? 26 Bibles, I think we gave away to kids who said, I don't have one.
Yeah.
Let me get God's word into your hand. Now that I've showed you for a week that God's word is more than, words on a page.
Yeah.
It's living and active. Here's where you can read it yourself.
Yeah.
And here's your next step. This is, do it yourself. Read who Jesus was, and he's real and alive. And,
yeah,
it's just good.
And it's really cool because one of the other super volunteers that I want to call out a little bit, because there's so many that are in this regard, but I guess some would view it as maybe going above and beyond and not needing to go that far. But I saw the results of all the kids was Melissa Gregg in the Scrolls.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
So, she's, because it was, special paper that she traced out.
Do you know what you want to know what it was?
What?
It's Amazon paper. It's Amazon packing paper.
It was
that's what it was.
It was perfect.
So that's what
it's
worked.
So special.
Okay.
It was super special, expensive paper. We repurposed all of the Amazon packing paper, flattened it out because it's already all crinkled up.
Yeah.
Flattened it up. And then Miss Loretta, shout out to the hours. She spent 4 full evenings hot gluing them to bamboo, which we cut down.
Yeah.
KB cut bamboo down out of his yard. And then Steve sat outside cutting little bamboo things. And Loretta hot glued and made them into scrolls.
And made them into scrolls. Cool. And then was it Melissa who went and traced?
Melissa did,
she did
a full language study in Greek.
She did
of
something
Greek.
to make it age appropriate. So from like the little, she started and did a lot of it for them. So they just did their name. And then as they got older, they got to write a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then they had like what looked like an old school like bamboo.
They were bamboo styluses.
Yeah,
and
styluses.
Real ink.
Dipped it in real ink and then traced on these scrolls. Yeah. But like, oh man.
Weeks of language study.
When one of the kids lost their scroll.
Oh, they were so upset.
They lost their mind and like ran around. And if they didn't find it, but then I could walk some of the kids back and be like, hey, they're like with the parents. And I'm like, I'm not giving you any ink. But here's one that's like not done yet because they had extras. If you want to take this, and they were so thankful and like, but like watching the kids and the impact, and all of them were holding it like it was a treasure that they were leaving with.
And it said Jesus loves.
Yes.
And then it was their name.
Their name.
Those who didn't know, in Greek.
So. So like, and that was, was it Melissa who went through and like wrote all their names in Greek?
She spent
like in pencil, and then they traced it with the ink.
She did that craft, and then she did the ichthus. So she did like a mosaic
tiles.
And it's not.
I saw the tiles.
She prepared them. The kids did them, and then she
took
them home and routed them all.
Yeah, she routed them for hours.
Like it was. Yeah,
and I saw her repairing some.
Yeah. and so it just it's great to see. And I wasn't sure, like I didn't know that Loretta was the one that hot glued them all. Yeah. But that makes sense because that's another one. She's always here.
Loretta's been countless
helping
hours
with VBS stuff and like just pouring in.
Yeah.
And it's just neat to see because those are things that are super impactful and they stick with kids, but they can take them home.
Yes.
And they can revisit and they can relook at and be reminded of what they learned at VBS and the biblical truths. And it's just a really cool thing. Yeah. And that's honestly, my daughter and I had a conversation about the ichthus. Like that's the single tattoo that I have. Like on my shoulder, I have it and I have the Greek lettering in the middle. And she's like, Dad, this is what, I just didn't know what it, like, I knew what it meant kind of, but I didn't know like what each letter meant. And like, and she was like giving me a lesson. I was like, yeah, like,
I almost know what I tattooed on my body.
Yeah. I'm like this. And we, they've always asked like, why do you have that? And I would explain why I got it and the significance to me and all that stuff. But it was really cool because she's like, now I know, I know some of the stuff that you didn't know, and it's like, and it was just a really cool exchange the one day as I was going back and observing like all the stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, like who took all this time? Like, but it was really neat. And to see the impact on the kids was, and that's, and going back to what you guys are saying, that's why.
Yeah.
Because they didn't, and again, I don't want to, there's value in some of the stuff, but like the crafts they were doing had deep spiritual meaning. Yeah. And deep spiritual truths. Yeah. That they can go back to and rely on, and just the importance of that.
Absolutely.
And how cool that was. So.
As Maggie's coming home going, Mom, did you know? And I'm like, yeah.
I know.
I've kind of been studying this for a year.
Yeah, I know.
They were so excited to make that truth their own, which I thought was pretty cool. I did hear a story on Sunday, and I can't remember who told me it, but they said their little boy went home and went to Dad, and he made the first half of the ichthus. And so they had practiced this going to the underground church. They would make the first half, and if somebody would finish it, they would know they were safe. Yeah. And so they made the first half, and of course, Dad had absolutely no idea what he was doing. Yeah. And he goes, I knew it. You're not a Christian. And I was like, oh, no, that was not the intention at all. And then Mom explained, he is a Christian. People don't do that anymore. Yeah,
oh, shoot.
But that was fantastic. Yes. So he was testing his dad. Sorry. I apologize for that.
Out of the mouth of babes. Yeah.
I was like, well, whoops.
But that's cool. I'd also love every year, and maybe just Libby will speak to this, but if all of you want to go for it, every year we think of a mission organization or a local mission group to raise money for. And it's a competition between the boys and girls. They have fun with it, but also it's to make them aware of things that are going on locally and, sometimes on the world level of the subject matter that we're talking about. And so there's always been a connection to what they're learning and then what they're bringing their offering in for. And this year, it just so happened that we could have, our newest supported missionary family who will be going to a closed country, and they'll be living in an open country with the refugees, but they can travel to Northern Africa very quickly. They have reasons to go in because going to be a Christian is not a reason to ever be permitted into the country. But they have other means to get in, and they're already connected with the underground church, and they're pouring into those pastors, and just a really neat opportunity. And so it was speak to anything involving that. If there was an example, and I can think of one, and someone might share it, but like of that really connecting with the kids, of the importance of how we can pray for and support and help those that are called to then go serve directly to the underground church around the world.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw it play out any.
Yeah, and you might not have, and that's
the thing I get from it, I guess, just as a side bit, is just remembering to be a joyous giver. And sometimes as an adult, we get into the tithing and giving out of obligation. And even though we preach on it, we hear, joyous, be joyous. To see the kids freely bringing entire change jars, not just for the competition, the ones that are a bit older that do understand what we're raising the funds for, and like, hey, I'm going to help, send this, and it can go towards their plane ticket or whatever else. Like, that was rewarding and very neat to see. And I think, to me, a big important part of why we do the offering. It's fun for them to do the competition in the tomato Kendall, and we enjoy watching them in tomato Kendall. But the nitty gritty, and to get down to it, is that joyous, and it's a great to see them and to teach them to be a joyous giver, but the great reminder to all of us to also be like the children and genuinely be the joyous givers.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, one thing that stood out to me, not necessarily with any specific conversations that I had with the kids, but just like how well the Chrisman coming on, close to VBS was, it's just, everyone just says it's a God thing. And it's
how God orchestrates things that we don't even think of in the moment.
What?
Yeah. And it's just so, so cool to see God at work, that they're going to be a part of the mission work for the underground church. Yeah. And, that was our theme of Paul and the underground church. So it was just, such a neat thing. The only conversation I had with Mia, and she was like, they could go to jail. And I'm like, I don't think they could go to jail, but other people could go to jail. They could probably, I think he said that they would just get kicked out.
The majority of it, if they went to jail, it would be short term, and they would just be deported and not permitted to come back for any reason. But,
like Catherine said, obviously we make it into a competition, but in kids ministries we're very intentional. Even our silly things, there's meaning behind. And so just teaching kids how to give, and that we get to. Not we have to. We get to. And we get to be a part of what God's doing in their life. It's not because they need the money from us. And this is what I told the kids. We have a big God who can get money however he wants to. But we get to be part of sending them and they caught it. Yeah. I had one little girl go home and tell her neighbor what they were raising for. And I think her neighbor's a believer. So she was, and she said, I want you to take that whole change jar. And it was she could barely carry that thing in. And I'm like, a
big glass jar, girl, a big glass jug.
Full of change. Yeah. Full of change. And a couple of our teens, I'm going to get a little teary. A couple of our teens said, well, can we do it too? And I said, of course. Yeah. Of course. And they came and generously gave their hard-earned money. Our teens wanted to be part of it too. Not because it was the competition, because they weren't going to be a part of it anyway.
And what those kids can raise and bring in a week is astronomical.
Hey, Mel, I came upstairs in tears, and I'm like, oh, I got to come up here, Mel. I need a minute.
She comes around the corner on Friday, and she's like, I forget if you said, can I share something? I have to share something.
Yeah.
My first initial thought, which is so bad, because my first thought was, what did my son do? Excuse me. And like, he's not someone that usually is doing something wrong. But there's times he's a typical 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And he was actually, that was one of the days he could be here to help. Yeah. And I'm like, what did he do? But then I didn't even notice until you had that poster in your hand. And then I'm like, oh. And then you showed, what was it, $1,246 and whatever cents.
Yeah.
And it was neat because Mike Christman's like, I thought you said that they raised $200. Well, and I was like, well, I didn't want to say they've raised $700 to $800 each of the last few years, and then you get like 200 and be like, oh, they must not have caught on.
Like
you know, yeah. And I'm like, so I didn't want to oversell it, but it was more than I anticipated.
I'm like, if they raise $500, and
that's amazing.
Guys, they are bringing it in pennies and nickels.
Because it's change.
Sweet Martha.
You know?
I mean, on Thursday, it took her 3 hours to count all the change. Because that big old jar. She barely had enough time to get it to me before the announcement at the end of the day. She was thankful. Thank you, guys. Friday was all cash. So it was much easier to count. But, yeah. Yeah, I had to collect myself because it was the biggest offering I've ever seen come in for VBS, and to have the kids catch the vision of and their parents to support it because that's where they're getting the cash.
Yeah, I know. So. I was going to say it's some of it is the kids' money that they did doing chores, and I always love the suggestion you give it every year of ask mom and dad if there's something you can do around the house. Yeah. With the full intention of giving that money.
But giving that money.
To the offering.
Which makes it even more exciting because it's not just mom gave me a couple dollars.
Exactly.
They earned it and then still chose to
give
I'm
the whole thing.
invested now.
Right.
Yeah.
And this means more to me because I did something to get this money and now I'm giving it all. But there was also a really neat opportunity without going into any details. But there was a woman who got a chance to have a very meaningful conversation with their grandchild, where things maybe have not been passed down in ways that they tried to raise, their children or whatever. But and not to begrudge anyone, but this person said it was so impactful that as they are the ones that brings their grandchild to VBS to then share and still encourage them to go home and ask mom and dad, but they gave towards it. Yeah. And then, the grandchild's like, but grandma, what, you weren't planning on this. Why did, and then really be able to speak to the fact of, giving with a joyful heart. And this is what God has called us to. And God is the one that provides all that we have. And it was a lot of things that this child had never really heard. Yeah. And they, the woman was sharing how they were just taking it in like a sponge. Yeah. And like, oh man, I never thought of that. I never realized that, and so it was a really neat opportunity for some teaching moments, that I just really appreciated that I don't always get to hear those stories. But it was really neat with me just having conversation with some people and then them freely sharing it. And it was like, oh man, like that's right. That's why we do these competitions and things of that. And on a side funny note, the Christmans came on Friday to receive the gift, but to wrap up and when Mike came Tuesday, Emily and the 3 daughters didn't come, but they came on Friday. And part of that reason is because their daughters are 6, 4, and 3 months, so like getting the newborn and everything out and that can be tough sometimes. But when they were here, when the tomatoing happened, because part of the competition was whatever gender won got to choose the leader that then they got to dump tomatoes on, because that was part of the Roman theme and going with that. You used fresh tomatoes. You didn't use rotten ones, which was very nice.
I left them in my car for 2 days to soften them up, but yeah.
Yeah, but like they weren't rotten.
No mold.
Yeah. Rotten or not, those seeds got caught in Kendall's hair, though.
I talked to him on the Sunday after, and he was like, "I'm still finding seeds." In my hair.
Yeah. I was gonna say because I mean,
Lainey got super
Lainey, yes,
end.
but Did you see Olivia Adams?
Oh, yes. She rubbed it in.
Smash.
Oh, yes.
And as that was happening, Mike's like, oh, that girl has brothers, doesn't she? And I'm like, well, yes. And then I told Mike who she was. And, because Mike knows her grandpa Watson very well. And they worked together. And he was laughing. But you started the tomatoing process with Sophia and Isabel.
Yes.
The 6 and 4-year-old of the Crispins. And Mike's like, this is so cool. Forevermore in their life, this will be the church that they got to tomato the youth pastor. Yep. And he's like, and then I can remind them that they pray for us and they support us and they're our partners and they're behind the ministry and because again it got me that Sunday as well. But in that situation, it's a situation that like those girls have no choice, but they're getting called into full-time missions as well.
Absolutely.
And so just like the prayer over them and remembering as we're praying, and yes, we need to pray for the missionaries, but talking to Emily, one of the biggest things that was a hindrance for them saying yes is like, I know that this is the case with any kid, but man, there is a pretty high rate of missionary kids that walk away from the faith.
Absolutely.
And she's like, what are we doing to our kids if we do this, if we say yes? And then just working through that to be reminded that no matter what situation we go to, they're God's anyways. Yeah. And there's that possibility no matter what you do and try to safeguard and, but it's still just a natural thing of parents. But it was a great reminder to, as we pray for our missionaries, pray for their kids just as much.
Absolutely.
Like, yes, the missionaries' hearts need guarded and they need protection, but their kids' hearts need guarded and they need protection too. Yeah. And just being reminded of that and the importance of that. But well, thank you guys very much. Before I wrap up, I should offer, is there anything else that you guys want to share?
What's the theme for 2020?
Oh, I'm pretty pumped about this.
I know, but it is under wraps, guys.
Oh, okay. So then I won't say anything.
We're not going to leak it yet.
January.
Yeah.
When we start prepping.
Probably. Yeah. When we start prepping, we'll have a big announcement. I think we're going to have a launch party. Like, we're going to have to, it's going to have to,
and
it's
do
gonna
something
be big.
To invite people to. That'll
this
be
one's
cool.
going to be big. We are doing a complete 180.
Yeah, it is very different.
It will be nothing like this year, but I think powerful.
Yeah.
And fun. So that's it.
That's
exciting. All you're getting this year.
Well, I'm glad I didn't blurt it out.
I know.
I didn't know it was a secret. So I got to make sure that
we can always edit it.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much for joining, and more than joining for this. This is great. But thank you for the week and serving, everything leading up to it, and just that what you guys have done over the years, but also what the future holds, and your involvement moving forward and encouraging others to do the same, I think is a pretty special thing. So thank you everybody else for joining us for the Federated Squared Circle Wrestling with God's Word. We'll see you next episode.